Did I just get kicked off my live? I did. You're gonna have to let them know. I just got kicked off. Supposedly, somebody just flagged me for nudity. One of the people in the chat flagged me for nudity. Somebody that didn't say chat just tried to flag me for nudity. Anyways, oh my goodness. See if I can get this. I want to see if I can get this back up and running over here on everywhere else. Should be streaming again. Should be. I don't know. Well, welcome to Real News Live. If you guys are back in here, I am sorry about that. Somebody decided to join the chat and try to flag me for nudity, which is ridiculous. That's one thing I do not show or ever show on my shows, which is just beyond ridiculous. Hello, Rodney. Hello, Karen. Hello, everyone. Hello, Nana. Hello, Richard. Absolutely ridiculous. I just went live, and you believe it or not, somebody flagged me for nudity. There's no nudity on my shows. This is an utter disgrace. Utter disgrace. What just happened? Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I just went live again on Facebook, so I'm back over there. Well, hi, Pam. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everybody. Absolutely ridiculousness that I just got flagged for nudity, literally, because I'm talking about what's happening. The truth is bad, yes. Biden did something irreparable. He had no right to declassify documents. He had no rights to these documents in the first place. Now we're finding out there's more documents at his home. There's more documents found all over the place. His garage. Oh, but they were locked with my car. My car was locked in my garage. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous that Biden is getting away with this at the rate he's going. He's not going to get away with it, though. Classified documents being unearthed between November and this week, located in his private office space in Washington, now found at the garage at his home, his library on Tuesday, and as a result of expanding investigation by the Justice Department. Absolutely ridiculous. What they said and did about Trump having documents, even though the FBI and national security knew that they had to put another lock on the door. It was in a special locked room that nobody could get in, with, of course, Secret Service protecting the building. These documents were found laying in the garage with junk. Top secret information. Top secret information. Information about Ukraine, Burisma is being found. China. Why is all this information being found in his possession, his private possession? We know Trump, is going through all this because of documents he had. But all these newly discovered classified documents that are coming out from Biden, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, next to his Corvette. Oh, it was in a locked garage. You know how easy it is to get into a garage door? It is just crazy. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you here. This is absolutely ridiculous, though, watching these documents come forward. And Biden is just an idiot. Saying, oh, I didn't know they were there. I didn't know they were here. I didn't know they were in my library. I didn't know I left them in my garage. The house isn't even under his name. The house where the garage was is actually under his son's name, Hunter's name. So Hunter had classified documents on Burisma, according to documents that show this house was actually owned by Hunter. In Hunter's control were documents about Burisma, about Ukraine, about China, classified documents. Yes, I'm taking calls tonight. Always going to be taking calls, especially with this going on. This is ridiculous. And this is just the start. As we're looking at everything that's happening out there. The deeper we dig, the worse it gets, though. Literally, the deeper we dig, the worse it gets. Every time we turn a corner, there's new crisis of Biden's in the making. And this is his making. I mean, Biden exposed files to the wild. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight?
Chris, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing okay. Besides, I cannot believe all the stuff that's coming out, Biden. The documents that have been released so far.
Long time, man. I got sick on Christmas Eve, man, and I had a really shitty Christmas. And I didn't have COVID, but I had like a really bad chest congestion, infection, sinus, and I had phlegm for like 2 weeks. But I'm finally got it behind me now, and man, that was the most sick I've been in my whole life. Never been that sick before. It was really bad.
I'm glad you're over it, or getting
Yeah,
over it.
that's why you haven't seen me out and about, you know. But hey, I wanted to ask you about something. My son told me about this documentary, and I watched it today. I don't know if you ever heard of it, and if you watched it, what do you think about it? Do you think it's legit? It's a documentary. It's called Everything a Rich Man's Everything. Oh man, what the hell is it called? Hold on one second. Let me look it up, Chris. Hold on. I'm sorry.
All right. This is just crazy out there, though.
Yeah, the title of the documentary is called "Everything is a Rich Man's Trick."
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you heard of it, right?
Yes.
It dates from like the 1800s, World War One era, and it goes all the way up until modern times, and exposes like a secret society of the elites.
Well, it goes from JFK to 9/11. That's what this really covers. This is primary.
But it also talks about World War II and how, you know, according to this documentary, how the elites of the world, you know, the super rich.
That war was manufactured. We should have never been involved. I don't know if you guys know about like the details beyond World War II is we sold the Japanese all that steel. And then when China came begging.
Well, same thing with the Nazis. Apparently, these big companies, the DuPonts and some other companies, Ford, they actually sold materials to help build the vehicles and stuff that the Nazis were using in World War II. In other words, it showed how the elites, the super rich secret society called Skull and Bones, how they play both sides, and everyone else that goes in a war and fights each other is just pawns, because it basically makes these people even more rich and powerful. They control everything. So you're aware of this documentary? You watched it?
I've seen it, and there's actually a newer one that came out 2014. I just posted it in the chat. People should really watch the JFK to 9/11 one, the newer one version of it.
Yeah, that's the one I watched today. That's the one. It's called.
There's actually two of them. There's that one, and then there's the older one. The older one goes a lot more into detail about older stuff.
And it talked about how really the Bush family was involved in a lot of crazy shit, and how we actually they it's you gotta watch it. And I'm talking to people who are listening right now. If you get a chance, called "Everything Is a Rich Man's Trick," and it's mind-boggling how the CIA, especially the CIA, is the most corrupt and criminal organization there is in its history.
Yeah, well, we corrupt every country we go into. Let's be honest. Ukraine
Yeah,
was fine until we put Zelensky in charge. We put Zelensky in charge by funneling money into his TV show about a president becoming president. Before he was president,
yeah.
this average
Well, I
Joe
mean,
became
really,
president, Zelensky, and he was the character in the show.
the origins of this war really dates back to when the Soviet Union collapsed, and
Yeah.
how the United States saw an opportunity to to put in place. They said they didn't want the pro-communist leader to take over Russia, and that's when the CIA actually helped put Boris Yeltsin in power, who was more of a Westerner sympathizer, and he was a drunk and they could control him. And a lot of people say that during the 90s was really the worst time at all for anyone that was living in Russia, because it was like a really bad time to be in Russia because of Boris Yeltsin and his policies.
Yep.
But yeah, this thing, Chris, I'm watching this show tonight, and it's so fascinating to see all the players, and I don't know if it's all factual, but the way the guy did the show, the documentary, it really opens up your mind to really think outside the box and not really listen to everything that we're told by the media and by our politicians.
Well, see,
You
that's
know,
something I've learned a lot. I mean, I wasn't in the military. I served in a private company. I worked with SciCon. So I understand a lot. Like, there's a lot of fishy stuff our government does and pays these black ops companies to do that is not on the up and up.
yeah,
I can say that it's not on the up and up. I can't talk about what I did, but I could say these are obviously things that would be violations of Geneva Convention, arms of war, everything. And that's what they were ordered to do. So,
think about it. Like, all the wars after World War II were basically like really bullshit wars and engagements that we got into, and who benefited from it? And it's like
rich.
after World War II, right? We need a new enemy, a new boogeyman, and we were told, our new enemy is the Soviet Union. They're going to spread communism. Well, we went to war against the North Vietnamese because we wanted to stop the spread of communism. But guess what? After that war, we lost the war. Vietnam became communism. Did they ever attack us? Were they ever a threat to us after that?
No, they never were in the first place.
Exactly.
Wars are made to make the rich richer, and that's what's happening.
Yes, exactly.
Even this war in Ukraine.
Exactly.
These manufacturers of Javelin missiles like Lockheed
and that's
Martin,
what's happening with Ukraine, Chris. That's what's happening with Ukraine
Halliburton.
right now.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're making Halliburton and Lockheed Martin are making money hand over fist.
We're giving them all our old shit, and then that means that the military is able to put in orders for all the new stuff for these contractors to build for
Well,
us.
here's how bad it is right now. I don't know if you guys know. Biden just asked Congress for approval to sell F-16s to Turkey, an ally of Russia. Even though they're a NATO nation, they are an ally of Russia. We know this for sure.
Yeah.
They've been taking Russian oil and selling it on the open market and claiming it as their own. They've been buying food and whatever Russia needs and giving it to Russia. Now Lockheed Martin is going to produce these planes. We're going to give them a credit or a deal on these planes by selling them to them at a loss. So we're going to be paying for it for these new F-16 fighter jets to Turkey. And then Greece is getting F-35s. The F-35s right now, obviously, we're having serious problems with them. Nobody knows about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. I mean, we don't have a true fighting plane right now.
No. Hey, so I just want to tell people listening, in this documentary, that there's a famous picture of Auschwitz. If you ever see the picture of the front gate and there's railroad tracks leading to Auschwitz. In this documentary, they said those railroad tracks were actually built by an American company. I forgot the name of the company that the documentary said it was, but the tracks themselves were American-made materials. So it just goes to show you how, I don't know, a lot of things that are happening in our history, and we've been told a certain thing. I mean, this whole thing with the skull and bones, the secret society, and they believe in the Nazism, the socialists, and all these people, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, and all these elites who control everything, and the Bushes, the Bush family, going back to Prescott.
Yeah. Well, now the GOP, I don't know if you know, the GOP is looking at what happened with the Afghanistan withdrawal. Why so much equipment was left behind. Why all this. I mean, it was obvious we left way too much stuff behind. I mean, we left everything behind. It wasn't a clean and controlled withdrawal. We left everything behind.
If anybody really wants to get a really good idea of what's happening accurately with Ukraine and Russia, don't listen to what the media says, Newsmax and Fox, and look up two guys and follow them on YouTube and listen to them. One is Scott Ritter, and the other guy is Colonel McGregor, Lieutenant Colonel McGregor. And those guys,
good.
Scott Ritter. You watch him at all? He's a
no, I haven't heard of him.
And those guys will tell you what's really happening, and they tell you the truth. Not unlike the media. But anyway, I just want to touch base. I know I haven't talked to you in a while, and say Happy New Year, and hopefully we have
Happy New Year, man. Hope you feel better. I hope you stay better.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. My voice is a little hoarse, but
I know COVID's going crazy up there in the city. I know you're not in the city.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to the doctor, he tested me for COVID and the flu was negative, but who knows? Who knows if I had it or not? But
the new variant's so hard to test for in the first place. So
this Christmas sucked, man. I was by myself. My wife went upstate with the kids, and I was pissed off that she went. I couldn't believe that she would leave me alone sick. But what are you gonna do? But anyway, well, good talking to you. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. God bless and stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, there's all this Biden and stuff. It's just another introduction of what's happening and what's been happening. I mean, government has the public side and the private side. Obviously, for him to be having classified documents in a home that's registered to Hunter Biden, in the garage, in the library, everywhere, finding documents. Every time they look for documents, they find more. There's a problem, a serious problem, because these documents relate directly to business and money that was made by the Biden family. Maybe not President Joe Biden himself. We can't prove that, anyways. But who's the big man? Who is the big man if we can't prove it? I mean, this is ridiculous. Special counsel's been appropriated for Biden now for looking at his finances to looking through the file as the Garland Tafts and special counsels, classified documents, discoveries. Now we got Robert Mueller doing an oversight committee. We got the GOP House seeking Hunter Biden's bank reports from the Treasury. This is going to blow up. They recklessly accused Donald Trump of hoarding top secret documents in his Florida residence. That has to be awkward for the Democrats. It has to be, given what they have done. He was a former president. He had authority to declassify any document he wanted. He was still president, or still had the authority when he was in the process of moving those documents. Of course, they don't want to raid Joe Biden's homes or search all the properties. just random things coming found once in a blue moon. You know, that's the way it's going to be. Slowly leaking documents out. We're never going to know a total amount of documents. We know a total amount of pages that or pieces of paper or folders we were taking from Trump's house, and that was 183, 184. Total, that was including just the folders with nothing in them. This is truly a crime. He had no right to declassify documents. And now the GOP officials are launching probes into Afghanistan withdrawal over what Biden did. The House Republicans are officially launching probes into the Biden administration's chaotic withdrawal of Afghanistan. The widening array of information on the matter is being requested from Blinken. I mean, this is ridiculous. Biden said the administration has so far refused to hand over documents. So they're refusing right now, the Biden administration, to hand over any documents. Yeah, he supposedly supposedly. But this is absurd and disgraceful that the Biden administration has repeatedly denied longstanding oversight requests and continues to withhold information related to the withdrawal and related to everything. The event of continued noncompliance is ridiculous. So it's supposed to be compulsory process where they have to do it without a question. I mean, these people, McCall is seeking intelligence assessments, and he has clearance for them. It's not a big question of if he's allowed to see those documents. He is. Spokesperson for the State Department said they were committed to working with the Congressional Committee and have already provided more than 150 briefings to the bipartisan members of the Congress since the withdrawal. But they won't release the intelligence. Additionally, this is just getting worse and worse. As we hinted at a Afghanistan investigation over and over again, one of a number of probes planned by the Republican Party. I mean, finally, after seizing the House, this is getting underway. U.S. troops pull out. I mean, the death of 13 Americans by a terrorist attack. American troops at that. I mean, look at what's happening to the citizens in Afghanistan now. Women can no longer do anything or even go to school or learn or something we said we would never allow to happen. The White House reports, or the briefings that were supposedly sent to Congress, are riddled with inaccuracies. Subpoenas are having to be issued to compel the U.S. officials to sit for depositions. Meanwhile, we have Biden just leaking documents, letting documents sit in his garage, or Hunter Biden's garage. Put it that way. Biden administration, of course, asking Congress to sell F-16s at a discounted rate. That means we're going to be paying the difference to Turkey. Because Turkey is a NATO and the NATO alliance. Turkey's also allies with Russia. Basically, $20 billion worth of F-16 fighter jets to Turkey. I mean, Greece is trying to buy F-35s. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Not only that, the U.S. is expected to hit its debt limit Thursday of next week. Yellen told Congress, Secretary Treasury Yellen notified Congress Friday that the U.S. is projected to reach its debt limit Thursday, and then will have to resort to extraordinary measures to avoid default. I mean, they want to raise this debt ceiling from 31 trillion and keep it going again, or suspend it altogether for a period of time. Suspend the debt ceiling. We're only at $31 trillion in debt, much more than our GDP. We should just suspend the debt ceiling and allow the government to spend money. You know why? They should just ban gas stoves. They should just do whatever they want. The U.S. is going to default anyways. I mean, we're talking, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The government's going to fail to meet obligations, and it probably is, and it's going to probably cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy and the livelihoods of all Americans. The global financial stability, indeed, in the past, even threats that the U.S. government might fail to meet its obligations have caused real harm, including only credit ratings downgraded in history to our nation in 2011. But when is enough? Yeah, banks are disclosing they are broke. They don't know what to do. Banks do not know what to do right now. Banks are defaulting. They don't have money. Because people can't pay their mortgages, the banks can't recoup their losses. They can't sell property at a rate because nobody's buying because they can't get credit. Watching this turn, it's, like I said, entering a recession and probably a depression. That's what we're looking at. Even if they do raise the debt ceiling, it's still not going to help. The American debt ratio is too high already. Yeah. Brand new money coming off the press because the government just keeps printing it. So when is it worth anything? What is it actually worth? I mean, it's sad watching what's happening. I mean, this is ridiculous. We got Biden, of course, obviously in true trouble. The U.S. is in the toilet. McCarthy. McCarthy invited Biden for February 7th State of the Union speech. He really wants the president. He wants Joe Biden to deliver his second State of the Union speech Friday the 7th. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy extended an invitation for him to address the joint session of Congress that day, just to show him what he really wants. That means. This is crazy. Watching what's happening in this country, we are falling apart. And meanwhile, we have Russia taking Solidar today. I mean, taking another part of Ukraine. Solidar, of course, is a salt mining town in Ukraine and would be marked for rare victory. And it was a rare victory and a setback for Ukraine, showing Ukraine cannot continue to fight this war. And capturing the entire eastern region of Donbass is happening. They're grinding down Ukrainian forces and preventing them from launching counterattacks elsewhere. And it's happening. I mean, Russia's happening. If they get these planes sold to them, the F-16s by the U.S. through Turkey of all places, it'll just give them more to fight with. As we're watching what's happening. And Russia's set to ultimately formally pull a third country into the war, Belarus, to actually formally join the war in Ukraine in the coming days. And now all they need to do, all they want to do for that is to say Ukraine has used any force against Belarus, which they have. We know that. So it's only a matter of time before we see Belarus fully engaged in Ukraine as well. As they're losing already on the Donbass region, Ukraine is, now they're going to be attacked from the north. And heavy attacks. Belarus is much more organized, even though the military is much smaller. Crazy. War in Ukraine is going to last a long time. And is the West ready? Are we ready to keep funding a war that is clearly a losing battle? I mean, the war in Ukraine clearly by now will not end soon. But in Moscow and the fear in Kiev is that the West will lose stamina before Russia suffers any kind of divisive defeat. So far, Russia's expectations of discord along Ukrainian backers haven't really materialized. Our well is dry. We don't have money to fund this anymore. We do not have the money to fund this anymore. I know people don't understand that, but the government does not have money. That's what we have to live with. Sad but true. Anyways, God bless you guys for being here with us tonight. I know not a lot of good news out there, but it is the news. The truth needs to go out, and the people need to know what's actually happening. From Biden's discovery of documents frequently around all different places, classified documents that he had no right to or access to in the first place, leading directly to Hunter Biden. Wondering how far back this is going to go. I guarantee Democrats are not going to put him in for a second term, up for election for a second term. And I'm guaranteeing that we're probably going to see a Michelle Obama candidacy. I hate to say that, but I have a big feeling we're going to see a Michelle Obama candidacy for president. It's coming. I know it. I can feel it in my heart. Nobody wants it, but the U.S. is good at covering up bullshit and making things go the way they want. Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, nobody wants Mike in office, but he's going there anyways. Or he's going up to run for office. I think DeSantis will get it, but I think we're going to see Michelle run for office. But God bless you all. God bless America. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful, safe weekend. I will be live tomorrow if anything comes up. If not, I'm probably going to take the night off. Honestly, I have my grandfather on Sunday alone now, so God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the United States. If you can afford to donate, please do. Like I said, we're trying to raise money for families in need. Till then, good night.